Welcome back to my channel. I am Jen from Jen's House of Six. Today I want to share with you how my vintage booth came about, why I named it what I named it, also give you all a tour of the grand opening. There's something so special about the first. I wanted to give you guys a glimpse into what it looked like just right at the beginning. And like I said before, my channel is not going to be all about booth, but it is going to be about what I'm interested in because I have to stay true to myself. So I know many of you probably want to know, and I really want to kind of document this and just put it out there so I don't forget how this all came about. So please stay tuned at the end for a tour of the inside of my booth. Later on, I will have a video of the entire store that I am in. So keep a lookout for that in the days to come. So let's get to all these little details. Many of you may remember, but on videos in the past, probably over a year ago, I mentioned something like looking for a space, but I honestly wasn't very proactive in doing that. But it was always kind of in the back of my mind. It's in my genes to be an entrepreneur, and I just feel like that is just part of my makeup. It's part of who God created me to be. And so it was just kind of always spinning in the back of my mind, but never really did anything about it. Probably the last year, I had been praying about it. I think you really can be talented when you thrift. Thrifting for certain things is a talent, and I'm not going to deny that the Lord has given me a talent and an eye for certain things. There are many times that I didn't buy because I live in this little house. Yeah, it's beautiful and it's vintage and amazing, but where am I going to put it? I can't buy everything that I love because I just don't have space for it. It's just not practical. So the whole antique vintage reselling, it just kind of made sense. So I really made it a matter of prayer, probably the last year, just really faithful to pray about it. And not even every single day. It's like, Lord, I know you've put this on my heart. You've gifted me in this area to be creative in this way. I know you have a purpose and plan for it. Lead me if that's what you want me to do. Just show me, open the door. I want to do the right thing. And basically that was it. I did actually call just to find out, but that's as far as it went. It just never came to mind again. Then last year I was having a yard sale at my mother-in-law's house, and there's a lady that comes. She's friends with a girl I went to school with in the 3rd and the 4th grade, and we have stayed friends all these years. We both love yard sales, and we both text each other when we know that our friends are having a yard sale so we can go to it. So we've kept this friendship over the years, and she was friends with this girl and actually went to church with her. She came to my yard sale. Well, I knew that she had opened an antique store, and I had never been to the antique store. Never. Which is crazy. Like, I try to go to all those things in my local town, but I hadn't been there. And she was there, of course, kind of shopping for her house and for also the antique store that she was part owner in. They were moving to a bigger building, and she was so happy in a better location. And I just kind of, no big deal, like nonchalantly, I said, have you ever considered having vendors in your store, or do you have vendors in your store? And she said, no, but we are going to be moving to a bigger location and we are considering that. And she's like, are you interested? And I said, yeah, I am interested actually. And so we exchanged phone numbers. And this was last year, probably in the summer sometime. And honestly, I never gave it another thought. Never another thought. And I never even went to the antique store and looked at it. Like, how terrible of me. But I didn't. During this time, I'm still praying about it, but I'm not specifically praying about this location. She ended up calling me on a Wednesday, random, just kind of in the middle of the day, and said, we are opening up a spot. She gave me all the details. She called me on April the 17th and said their grand opening day was June the 29th. So I had some time. They're still got to move locations and remodel the new location. So there's still a lot of things to do. I wanted to give me an opportunity, kind of like a first opportunity. Like I was one of the first people that she called, and they're only going to allow like 6 vendors in there, and told me the details. So the space is an 8x8, which is pretty big, especially for me just starting out. And honestly, that never even crossed my mind. Like, wow, that's a lot of space to fill. It didn't overwhelm me. I just was like, oh, wow, like out of the blue, she just called me. What a coincidence. But also, I don't believe in coincidences. It was just the Lord's timing. In April, we're not quite done with school yet, and I have my youngest of my 3 sons was graduating. It was just kind of making sense that maybe this was the right time. I took about 6 days and I talked to my husband, I talked to my children, I talked to my dad, I just talked to the people that are close in my life, that I value their opinion, and they know me and they know my strengths and my weaknesses, just to get their opinion. Like, is this something that you think that I should do? And I'm telling you, my family was so extremely supportive. And my son was like, Mom, if you don't do this, you're always going to wonder if you would have been successful if you had done it. And my husband was the same way, and my dad was like, it doesn't sound like you can go wrong. I didn't have to sign a lease for so many months or even a year. It was just on a month-by-month basis. So if I felt like it was something that I couldn't do anymore, I wasn't stuck doing it. Of course, I prayed about it some more, but I just really felt so much peace to go ahead and say yes and move forward. So I signed the contract and said yes. Then I immediately started thinking of names, because she told me you can name your booth if you'd like to, and of course I would like to, and I didn't want to name it the same name as my YouTube channel. The first name that came to mind was Flyaway Vintage, and the reason behind that is because my grandpa loved to sing. He remembered lyrics to songs, and he's 90. I had the privilege of being there when he passed away, and the morning that he passed, the last song, it's just special the way this all worked out, and the name and everything. But the morning that he passed away, the last song that he started singing on his own, by that time you really couldn't make out his words. It was very hard to understand him, but he had the melody and he was singing I'll Fly Away. That was the last song that he sang. And so that song, of course, it's a great hymn, but it has a whole new meaning for me from hearing my grandpa sing it as his last song, kind of to us, because we knew where he was going, and that we don't have hope in this life only. Thank the Lord, or we'd be of all men most miserable, but there is hope beyond this earthly life, and I'm so thankful for that. But he left us that gift of that song, and it was almost just like a challenge, like you better fly away. You better come and see me again. And so that is where the name, that was the first name I thought of, was Flyaway Vintage. I didn't really want to use the word antique. I don't know, I just love the word vintage better. I feel like antique has like this stuffy feel to it. I don't know, I'm weird, but I just loved that name. Literally had no intention of being emotional on this. A few of the other names that I considered, and they were Fly Away Home and Roundabout Home. I uploaded the music that he sang, The Gray Pony, and it says Roundabout Pony and Home Again, and he used to sing that to me when we were little, also to my kids, so it's just special. Roundabout Home, like these items that I'll be collecting, made a roundabout way to your home. And then the other was Roundabout Vintage, so, same roundabout. And then the other was Flyaway Home. But the Flyaway Vintage kind of stuck. My friend, she said, well, you do want the items to fly away to their new home. And that makes sense too. And then the other thing that just kind of sealed the deal for me was before I had called her back, I was just really pondering the name. I want to get it right the first time. Not that it's a big deal, but I just wanted it to be right. My other grandpa that I also had the privilege of being there when he passed, it was just a special moment too there, but I hadn't even thought of it before, and I don't know why. He loved to fly, and if we were outside anywhere and an airplane came, he would literally stop in his tracks and just look, and he would tell you what kind of plane it was. He just loved to fly. It just made sense, and I feel like me not thinking of that right off, but a little bit later, I feel like it was confirmation, like this is the name, and that's what we're going with. So that's what I called it, is Flyaway Vintage. Here is the rough draft I made up on Canva of my logo. I wanted cattle because my grandpa always had cows. And then I wanted an airplane because my other grandpa loved to fly airplanes. I was going to pay someone to make my logo, and I reached out to a friend who does that, but I never heard back from them. So my mom did it for me. I sent her my mock-up and she kind of finished it off for me, and I really love how it turned out. I did put the scripture reference of John 14, and that comes from the morning of my grandpa's funeral. My daily Bible reading just happened to be John chapter 14. And if that's not peace and confirmation, I really don't know what is. You guys are free to go and read it if you'd like, but I knew I had to have that on my logo. And I really wanted to just share this little detail with you guys. Just another thing that was confirmation for this booth. Then I started kicking it into high gear, but also we had so many things to like finish up, like get my son graduated. We had Mother's Day, my daughter's 16th birthday. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was trying to be like so vague because I knew then before we went to Anaheim that I was going to be opening a booth, and I bought several things there, and I had really prayed about, because I was really worried. I really have to think ahead about like holidays, you know, I can't not have some Christmas decor and Thanksgiving, and so I kind of got a little nervous about that. So I made it a matter of prayer. I was like, Lord, help me to find some holiday items, and I feel like I just found so many, and they weren't just Christmas, it was vintage Christmas. When it gets closer to that holiday, I will do a haul and share that stuff with you guys before I put it in my booth. I just have really tried to make this booth a matter of prayer and just be so grateful for everything and just thank the Lord for everything. Like he's just opened this door. I didn't actively seek this door, but he just opened it. I'm trying to just give him the glory and make everything a matter of prayer. And so I've been finding so much Christmas and holiday things. My mom's like, you need to start praying about something else because I think you're good for Christmas this year. It was kind of comical, but it's just like, the Lord is so good to do things like that for his children. After the graduation, yard sale, estate sale, and my husband's been so good. My family has been so amazingly supportive. If they weren't behind me 100% on this, I wouldn't have done it. First, I'm a Christian, then I'm a wife, and I'm a mother, and then everything else falls in line behind that. We really kicked it into high gear with trying to source some items. I had all of these things, and I was like, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to store the things like Christmas until it's Christmas? Where? I didn't make that a matter of prayer, but I was telling my son, like, what am I going to do? Just talking to him about it, and he's like, Mom, have you prayed about it? Leave it to your kid to shed light on the subject and be so honest. And I was like, you know what? No. So I'm going to pray about that. And I did. And I literally like woke up in the night and I was like, your mom has this extra room in her house. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need you to be so sure though, because I'm going to buy a shelf, just one. But before it's over, if it's ever over, it may be more than one shelf. It may be 2 or 3. I don't know. So I just need you to be okay with it. She was just so supportive and very on board. And she's just in the perfect location where she has like this extra room. And it's just perfect for storing my items. And I had let my dad know that yes, I was moving forward. I signed the contract. He just showed up randomly and gave me some money. And he's like, I want to invest into your business and you can do with this whatever you need. And I was just like, wow, Thank you so much. And so with that money, I was able to pay my first month's rent, so I didn't have to stress about that. And then also I bought the shelves from Costco that I needed to store the items that I sourced. And then I still have a little bit left, and I know I've bought things for the booth, but I'm weird like that. Like, I want to know that his money bought a certain thing. So I still have a little bit more money that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with yet. Maybe buy my signs or something like that, because I want to get a sign to go on my booth. But I want it just to be so I can say, like, that's from my dad. My husband was so awesome. He made me some shelving out of some old barnwood. I knew I needed something to put my stuff on. They turned out so nice. I'm so thankful that he did that for me. Him and my son moved that over and set those up for me. Family, supporting family. I was so excited. Also slightly nervous. If you're wondering why I'm looking down, I made me a note so I can kind of stay on track here. I felt so much peace in the middle of all the chaos getting ready. The opening day was on a Saturday, June 29th. The antique store had actually moved from one location to the other, so they were closed for a week before, so it was like a grand opening for them, but also for me because it was my first time. The store was so cool because they had a little meet and greet so you could meet the other vendors in the store. I don't know if it was a bank before, but it has a vault, an actual vault door and a little vault room. They put shelves in there so they could sell local goods, so they changed from just being an antique store to antique and mercantile store. Eventually they're wanting to do like a little coffee shop, and I was like, that would be amazing, because who doesn't want to come and drink an iced coffee and shop for antiques? Before I signed my contract, my friend and I went and visited the store because I was like, I don't want to sign without visiting the store and seeing what kind of feel it is. I was ready to say yes, but also I need to kind of look into this a little more. But at the same time, I felt so much peace. And so when I came into the store for the first time, before I said yes and actually signed the contract, I was just like, wow, it's got such a great feel. It has chippy, patina, rusty, lived in stuff people actually use and love in their home. It just has a really great feel in the store, and that was another thing that kind of just sealed it for me. The excitement is bubbling for the opening day. I wanted to just stay grateful and stay thankful and just thank God for everything. I'm hoping to one day have a website that I can actually ship things to you guys. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying that, but that has been a dream of mine for many, many years. It may be a reality one of these days, so I want to kind of speak that. I wanted to start a business page and just do it right from the beginning. I will link all of that in the description box below. Another great thing about this booth is a lot of the antique stores require you, if you are a vendor, to work at least one day a week, and this store does not require that. They're open 7 days a week, and I don't have to go down there and work. I can just come in and refresh my space whenever I like, or if something big sells, they'll actually call me and let me know so that I can get that filled up quickly. That was another thing that was just great, that I don't have to go down there and work. They do it all. The morning of, I was getting ready, and this is so strange, but my husband bought me this hat when we were on our 10-year anniversary. Sometimes I feel funny in certain hats, but I don't know why. I just love this hat, and I just felt like wearing this hat, and I hadn't worn it in a really long time, but I wanted to wear it on the opening day. It just felt fun and different because it was just new and grand and exciting. Life is short. I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the hat, and I don't care if people think I look weird or crazy or silly. I'm gonna wear the hat. You guys saw that I thrifted a little Psalms daily calendar, and it was King James Version, and the verse on June 29th, it was just confirmation again, just so much confirmation. I am a huge advocate for joy. Joy, it's different than being happy. Happy is circumstantial, and joy is always. No matter what your circumstances are, you can still have joy. So I wore my bracelet that said joy, and also another one that says love. I felt both love and joy that day. I just feel so unworthy that the Lord has opened this door for me, because it really has brought so much joy into my life, and I don't feel stressed about filling it up or buying things for it. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel so much peace and joy about this booth. It's just fun, so much fun to me. The morning of the grand opening, you guys know that we live next door to where my grandpa lived, and he has like this awning, and my dad has just been adamant, because there's not a garage like to park my truck in, so it's just out in the sun. But he's just adamant that I park my truck over there. I walk by his back door just to get in my truck. I counted the steps after he passed away. It's about 88 steps over there. I went in, and of course the chair that he always sat in was empty. He always sat where he could see that back door. And I just had a moment. I kind of broke down because I was just like, I wanted to go in there and tell him, like, Grandpa, I'm starting my own business. And I already know how he would be. He would be so happy and so excited for me. But it was just like, he's not there. But I wouldn't call him back for anything. I know he's having a time just with the Lord, and I want to go. I want to go see him again. It was just special. Not sad, but it was just a special moment, I just love my grandpa so much and looked for his approval, I guess you could say. I feel like he was such an example of Jesus to me. And I don't know where I would be. I truly don't know where I would be without him if he wasn't my grandpa. Without him being such a huge part of my life. So I am so thankful. And that's why I couldn't not name this something to do with him, in memory of him, to honor him. And I do want it to honor him. Like, I know it's stuff, like it's just stuff. It's earthly things. But I want this business to glorify God in every way. I don't want to sell anything that wouldn't glorify the Lord. I know the Lord created us to be creative. I mean, look at this world, how beautiful it is. And the Lord loves beautiful things. And he loves making things beautiful out of nothing. It's just another way that I can do that I can share that I can be creative in that way. I really appreciate you guys listening to this. I'm sorry, but not sorry for the tears. He could have been a horrible person and someone you didn't want to remember anymore. And it's not like that. And I don't even deserve to have a grandpa as good as him. Like, I'm so thankful. Thank you guys for watching this. Stay tuned for the tour of the booth at the grand opening. It already doesn't even look like this anymore. Thanks for listening to this. I hope that maybe if you guys are ever in California and you're passing through Atwater, that you'll stop at the Antique, Armoire, and Mercantile. I will leave all the details of the store in the description below, as well as the address. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate every single comment. I read every one of them. I am just so thankful for you. Let me stop rambling and let's get to this tour.